Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I was really excited for this conversation with you because you've got a few initiatives that I've seen online, but I don't want to not do them justice. So if you don't mind, Nana, introducing us to yourself and letting us know about your journey.
Okay. Well, I'm Nana Soenya. I'm 45 years old, born and raised in Ghana till I was 7, and brought here kicking and screaming. I have to add that always because I need people to know. And was raised in a London that for me was very difficult to be in because I'd lived sort of like a paradise life. In Ghana, I was really happy, had friends and family all over, had freedom, felt safe. So coming to London was a stark difference in Thatcher Britain. And yeah, it really marked me. And I was like, there must be more than this. There must be more than this. And I spent a lot of my teenage years, I grew up as a Christian. And so I spent a lot of my teenage years in church, hearing about mission, talking about mission, giving of yourself to the world to help make the world a better place. And so it was always part of my goal in life to do that, to really dedicate myself to that. And so as I was growing up, that was really that was a focus of mine. But also Britain was awful for me. So by the age of 19, I was like, bye. And I was like, out of here. And I left. I was like, I'm out.
As soon as you can.
I was like, I'm gone. I'm out. And I traveled around Europe, ended up in Spain, lived in Spain, started learning Spanish, speaking Spanish, found the language through which I expressed myself best, and that's Spanish, because of the way the language structure is and the way my brain works. Now I've found out that I'm autistic, so the way my brain works, it goes well with the Spanish language. So I did that for a while, came back to the UK around 23 and was like, oh no, it's still really bad. And I was like, oh no, this is like 2003, roundabout, so it was really early. And I was like, okay, how do I get out of here? Or what do I do? I spent 4 years working, and I started, and in Spain, I'd been working in high-end hospitality. So opened a few restaurants, learned about that side of hospitality. And at that time, it didn't really exist very much in the UK, high-end hospitality. So I got a job actually working first for Harrods in high-end fashion because I studied fashion at London College of Fashion for almost a year, got bored, left before I got my credentials because I was like, what?
This isn't for me.
Because that's my role. I'm like, I'll do it and then I'll leave. Anyway, so I was really interested because I had a theory that I believe still stands, that people in our society are really shaped by their theological beliefs and by their ideas about fashion and how they present themselves. So because theology was really big for me, and I loved fashion, I would study the two and see how we present ourselves or how we want to be seen. And that's normally in front of other people through clothes, through the way we present, really runs deep into who we are and what we believe, right?
Identity.
So, and then obviously how we believe in whatever we want to believe in, right, theologically, also dictates a lot, obviously. So yeah, that's where I started, thinking deeply about life. And then whilst I was here, I worked in Harrods, and then I got a job in Zuma restaurant in Knightsbridge as one of like the first cohort of Zuma people. Now Zuma's worldwide, prolific, Yeah, so Zuma,
you were one of the first.
Yeah, one of the first cohort of staff in Zuma. I didn't stay there for very long, but I made lifelong friends, and people in Zuma still know who we are because we were the first. And then I got a job in a church because I was like, I need to work towards there. And then from there, I felt called to go to Mexico. So I left in 2007 to go to Mexico. I didn't know anybody in Mexico. All I knew is I could speak Spanish. And I got to Mexico. I was working as a volunteer for an organization called Coalition Against Trafficking of Women. So I went to Mexico to work with women and young girls I thought, that had been put into prostitution and that we were going to work to get them out. And I was like, my hope, my newsletters were like, I hope I help one girl this week, this month, this year. You know, I didn't know what was waiting for me. I arrived and through Coalition Against Trafficking of Women found very quickly that there was a commercial sexual exploitation of children epidemic that at that time the world didn't know about. That child sex trafficking. Yeah. The world didn't know about it. My heart broke, my heart ached, and I felt like I had to dedicate my life to that, which is what I did for many years. So yeah, I am somebody, and I began to look for ways to help these children that hadn't been looked for before.
Yes.
So that would explain why I'm somebody who sees a situation, and all my life I've seen a situation and I'm like, how'd you fix that? Is somebody fixing that? Nobody's fixing that? How'd you fix that? Can I fix that? Okay, I'm going to fix that. You know, and I come up against a lot of opposition because who am I? You know, you're a girl, you're black, you're this, you're that. What do you know? You didn't finish college, London College of Fashion, right? You may be intelligent, but what do you think you're doing? You know, and that kind of stigma with women and stuff. And I just plodded along anyway. So yeah, in essence, I'm a person who is always asking questions. Why does that work? I came here in a black cab and I've found out what's going on with black cabs in London today. Yeah. If anybody's interested, hit me up, I'll tell you all about it. But yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, it's a whole different system now. You know, there's a guy who's been doing cabs for 15 years and, you know, he did the knowledge and why, you know, now they're on that Free Now app and where that came from and all of that. That's me. I just go around finding things out and going, is there anything I can do about it? So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I talk a lot.
Which is great for a podcast.
It is. Yes. Cram it all in.
But thank you for sharing your journey, because I think it explains a lot of the work that you're doing now and the work that you have done in the past as well. And you seeing that there's an issue and the only way we can change anything is if we act. Yeah. So, and if you're in a position to help other people, then why not? Not a lot of people think that way. So it's really great that that's your background. And then now you're working on Fundhership. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So my company is called Outreach for Multifaceted Ecosystems and Global Advancement. It does what it says on the tin. Outreach for Multifaceted Ecosystems and Global Advancement. And that's Omega 7 for short. And that's the Omega. And 7 is that we have 7 pillars. They're called Metros pillars that we work by. So it's my company's short name is Omega's 7, right? The long name is that. And within Omega 7, we have a few initiatives. And one of the first and our flagship initiative is the Fundhership Grant. Now, the Fundhership Grant exists because nothing like it exists in the UK, really. That's the baseline, right? The Fundhership Grant exists because it is needed in the UK. That's the baseline. The Fundhership Grant came out of me coming back to the UK after years in Mexico and going, how hard can it be to start a business? Crickets, right?
In the UK.
As a black woman in the UK. Yes. There's so many of us, 2.4 million. But how hard can it be? How hard can it be to get finance? Not even grants.
Yes.
Finance. I wanted finance, not a man in finance. I wanted finance. And I was quickly led to see that it was nigh on impossible, right? I remember when I was looking first for finance for my company and it was coming back as a no. So I asked the questions because I asked questions. And I said, why am I getting a no? Yes. Obviously. First of all, I have to say, I hadn't been in this country for a long time. I had no bank records in this country or anything. So that doesn't help, right? No credit history.
So did you go to a bank initially when you were...
No, I went to a financing company.
Financing company, yes.
But if you don't have any credit history...
Yes.
So that was against me. But outside of that, I was like, why? And I was told, well, it's your age, because I just, I was 38 at the time, 39.
I didn't know there was an age limit.
Well, there is.
Yes.
It's your age, it's your gender, it's the area you live in, right? Because there's a thing called risk modeling that is similar to redlining in the UK, where depending on the area you live, your credit score is marked. You know that credit scores are like air. You know, they just made up. But why are they made up? Because they tally up certain things and then they add it, right? Unless you understand, as you well know, unless you understand how to make the credit work for you in the way that they will then use it, you're kind of stuck.
Yes.
You know?
And you need to be aware of it in the first place. Like,
yeah.
what's my score?
What's my score? And you're like, why do I have this score? Right? Especially with us, as we are, a lot of us were told to move out of home. Moving out of home affects your score in such a terrible way. People don't know. Parents are like, get out, make something of yourself. With what? You just sliced my credit score in half. So I was asking these questions and he was like, yeah, the algorithms. And, you know, back in 2019, algorithm wasn't really a popular word, but I remember. So the algorithms are set to consider you high risk.
Really good point. So I'm an accountant and I work with business owners.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're surprised to learn that their credit score or their financial history, especially if it's a startup, is heavily linked to kind of the business and how much credit you might get.
Yeah.
Etc. And so, I think also when people are choosing co-founders, so they need to know what's the credit score for my co-founder. And there's a lot of things to consider when you're starting a new business.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when I found that I was never going to get money, I rallied friends and family and got some money and left the country again because I was like, I'm not staying. I'm not staying. I'm going to go back to Mexico. And there, by that time, through all my research and investigation of the work that I was doing in Mexico, I understood deeply that to be able to break through the issues of the commercial sexual exploitation of children, one needed to focus on women and mothers, right? So I went back to Mexico to start the first of its kind co-working space co-working space that catered to, because there were co-working spaces in Mexico, but they were all for women who didn't actually need them because they could. These women had lots of money. You didn't need it. It was just like their social club, right? And a functional co-working space is a space where you can go, you can use computers, you can have a creche, you can have, a place to eat. I even went as far as to think about a cab service that made it safe for the women to leave safely. So the cab service would have an app where both the women and the cab driver would have to tap in to say she's been dropped off, and it would have to be in a different way so that the cab drivers couldn't pretend that the woman had been dropped off and she hadn't, or it would have to be, because that kind of insecurity is really high in Mexico. So those kinds of things. So again, thinking about that and understanding, being really, really aware, having been, essayed when I was a child and having had to fend off men continuously. Everything I did was to create that, right? Safety. And went back, 2019, 2020, did our campaigns, was about to launch our fundraising campaign on I Fund Women, which again has been overtaken by a male a company.
Running it. Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've been bought out. So now it's not just for women, it's for businesses.
Okay.
Yeah, that broke my heart. Again. Yeah. And COVID came. So the money that I had raised, everything lost. So then I had to come back to London because at the end of 2020, because there was nothing I could do in Mexico, because there were no safety nets. At least there's some sort of safety net here. There were no safety nets there. My child was then almost getting to 3 years old, and so, we came back and I started working on Fundhership and found that, no, I didn't start working on Fundhership. The things that happened to me led me to start doing Fundhership, because I was like, I saw a grant like this in the US. It's called the AMBER grant, AMBER. And it's been going for 27 years now. And I thought, and there's lots of grants in the US, as you well know, but I thought this model could work here, because what it does is it removes the middlemen who always say no to us, and it gives us the power to help ourselves, right? And that's something that needs to start happening here in the UK for very strong reasons, right? Very strong. We need to snap out of the idea that they will do it, or if you work hard enough, if you do it so much, because that is not how people get ahead.
Yeah.
Here, even the indigenous of this
The
country.
finance, to be honest with you. And I'm really glad that, and maybe you can explain how it works, but the way that I've seen and read, it takes the ownership into women's hands. So the people that are investing in it, women,
Yeah.
the people that will benefit from it as well.
Yeah.
Because as you know, like women aren't investing enough. So it opens that up.
Yeah.
And maybe if that's a gateway as well, they can think about investing in other things.
Yeah.
So it's
because the ecosystem is this. The investment you make is the application fee. So you're not necessarily just investing because, right? The application fee pays for the grant. That's it, which means that nobody is off limits to getting this grant, right? You can have a business, a project or idea. Your business could be 10 years in, it could be 5 years in. You could be at ideation stage. You could want to do something for the community. It's important because as Black women, we are not a monolith. And as Black women, we're thinking about so many different things. And a lot of us are community focused, fixing things focused, right? And when you present these things, even when we start businesses, you want to start business to empower other women, to give power to other women. Lots of women I know, all their businesses are around giving power to women, giving power to children, helping this, helping that. And what we forget is that these things are not, as people who are considered high risk in the made up bar of riskness, that is not statistically factual, but exists. We are then having ideas that are not scalable, that are not sellable. And then also the whole idea that it's like this whole new idea of, no, you need to scale and sell. Only 5 to 10% of all businesses in the whole entire UK ever get to a place of scale and sell. So we need to stop that.
Yes, a lot of businesses have managed to grow because of cash injections, and then they can grow rather than trying to do that through revenue. And the unicorns of the world, they were not profit making, to be honest with you. The Ubers of the world, Amazon, they were not making money. They did it through investment. So we definitely need more of that. I don't know where the statistics at right now, but is it like something like 2% of investments go to women? Like in 0.02
Black women, at least.
or Black women. Yeah. There we go.
0.34, I think, women altogether. 0.02. It was that, like, it's really abysmal. What we need to think about is this. Yes, investment needs to come to us. However, first of all, roll it back, hold your horses. Let's go back to the other statistic. Of all the businesses in the UK, right? 5 to 10% only reach scale sell. Scale sell. They scale, but they only reach sell. So 95% of all other businesses, mostly owned by the indigenous of this country, are scaling, but they're not trying to do that thing. And they're scaling in a way that allows them to survive, to own, to do all of those things. When you invest everything into trying to get investment from people who think you're high risk because of your skin color, because of your gender, you are missing the mark, I believe. I believe that when we start to build on businesses that allow us to have enough funds to be able to then invest in ourselves, then we're making the difference, right? Let's not get on the bandwagon. Like, it's like people who get on the bandwagon of starting a CIC. Every Black woman I talk to, they say I should start a CIC. Do not start a CIC.
It's because that's where quite a lot of the grants go.
I will, yes and no. Because when you get a CIC, you can start a CIC, but is your CIC within the category where grants are? Because just because you're a CIC does not mean then you're free open for investment from grants or for grants, because are you covering this? Because if you look at the grants, are you helping women? Are you helping women who have a twitch in their eye? Are you doing this? Are you doing... And all of a sudden you're like, there's no grants out there for me.
I like that point that you're bringing up. So then hopefully the listeners will go away if they think, okay, I would like to start a CIC or a charity. Then they sit down and truly understand the people that you're trying to help. Are they there? Can you reach them? And then the funding that you're hoping to get, does it exist for you?
Does it exist for you?
Yeah.
Also, almost everything you want to do as a charity, you can do as a limited company. But with a limited company, you have more freedom to find other ways to make money. You know what I mean? That's really, really important, right? And for me, I'm going to be honest, I believe CICs are just another way of keeping tabs on us, because I had a CIC. I'm saying it because I did a CIC.
What was your CIC on?
It was for my recruitment company that I had that failed abjectly because I didn't have the money to put in it. And I spent grands of money trying to get it going. And this is business. Business doesn't, just because you have a great idea. I had a recruitment company that was going to be helping, and that was helping marginalized young people come into high-end hospitality, because once you're in high-end hospitality, the doors open so wide for you. You can travel across the world, you can do all of those things, you can have a lifetime job, and I had hundreds of candidates, but I did not have clients enough, right? And I was like, okay, let me get a CIC because I'm not getting enough clients, so at least I can transform things and make maybe like a prep school for people, and this, that, and CIC, do it. The minute I got the CIC, the amount of paperwork I had to do.
The paperwork is crazy. It's like charity level paperwork, but the limited company responsibility, and you need to make the money, but the paperwork is crazy.
Listen, it's an insult. It's an insult to my ancestors. It's an insult. It's such an insult. I'm like, what? I closed it down.
Yeah.
I closed everything. That's it. I think the CIC one also, oh my gosh, once I got it, I was like, oh great, yeah. I don't know. What grants?
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna ask that if have you applied for grants in the past, like, the National Lottery Fund and all these other grants?
I started applying for the UNLTD grant, the unlimited grant, UNLTD. And I got so infuriated by the way they were asking the questions. They asked the same question 3 times in 3 different ways. And I'm like, you know what? Again, I will not insult my ancestors thrice. Go away. I'm not doing this. What are you going to, like, what am I, like the brain drain?
It takes a lot of energy out of you. It feels like, okay, this is the direction we should go in because hopefully it's free money and then I don't have to give away equity.
You see my face?
I did,
Just thought of it.
In the past 2 years, I've applied, not just for myself, also for clients. I've applied for maybe 50 grants.
Lord have mercy. How are you still alive?
Success rate of about 5%.
Jeez Louise,
out of all of that. So I'm always transparent to say, just because we're doing this, it doesn't mean that we're gonna get it, because a lot of other people are doing it, and with teams. There are teams that are dedicated to applying for, which is why I like what you're doing, because it's transparent. It's really clear how it works as
Dignified.
well. Yeah.
They're gonna ask you, where's your uncle, brother's, sister's, father's daughter? No, you're not. Answer the 2 questions clearly. That's it. Why? There's another thing. What we need to understand is that we're being asked to start from a place as if we're starting from the same starting point as everybody else, as mostly the indigenous people of this country. We're not. We know this figure. 88% of Black founders start money from inside of their empty bank accounts, right? Start businesses from inside, as compared to 25% of white founders, right? And that's not the hate on the white founders, but let's be realistic, okay? It's not the way. Also, the other thing is this. Chad, Horatio, and Bob, right? They're like, I have a concept of an idea. How many articles have you seen?
Yes.
They're at concept stage. They're not even at idea, because concept, idea are 2 different. Concept stage. They're about to figure out what the idea is. 2 billion. And
I don't want to talk about politics, but you're describing something
money.
that just happened.
It's money,
and
right?
we've seen it as well.
And so why would I inflict that kind of rubbish on other Black women who are just like me by asking you to fill out how many requirements? Require what?
So what are the questions that you ask them?
What is your business project or idea?
Yes.
How are you going to spend the money? How will the money impact you? And is that all? What more do you need?
Yes, that should be it, to be fair. And then what's the decision process?
The applications are put through a rubric that is designed to take into consideration the demographic, the variety, the language, because we have a lot of neuro. I'm getting used to the word neurospicy, but still I'm like just neurodiverse. Okay. I don't like neurodivergent because divergent is a negative word, right? So neurodiverse women, and we take into consideration how they write, why they write, not to, because a lot of rubrics are like punctuation, this, that, and the other. That has been put in, right? To not take into those things into consideration, especially when you have to write a long thing. Once that happens, they get shortlisted through the rubric by point system in the rubric, and then they get handed over to the advisory board, who are Black and brown women as well, here in the UK. And that advisory board has 5 days to deliberate on a Notion page individually, and they do it, and then we're sorted. Bob's your uncle, we have somebody, or Fanny's your aunt.
I love it. And is this once a month? How frequent it is? That's amazing.
Yeah,
so,
we've done our first month.
Yes.
We're about to finish our second month. If you're watching this in August, about to finish our second month. And so by the 31st of August, we'll close applications. By then, hopefully, we'll have enough applications to be able to give out the grant. Yes. That's another thing. I tell people, I understand the deficit from which we are working. So when you look at something like that, only one person, yes. But don't look at it like that. Be part of the building. Because again, you can apply again in 3 months' time. Find me another grant that will let you do that with the same project, business, or idea. No, you can apply again in 3 months' time. It's not that the more times you apply, the more chance you have. But what you're doing is you're setting a legacy for yourself, for other women, for future generations that doesn't depend on us going to the government, please, sir, can we have some more?
And it can make a huge difference, that amount. And one person's helped, they're going to pay it forward by hiring someone or doing this project.
Jenny Powell's already. She's the one who received. She's already looking to hire somebody.
Amazing.
To apprentice somebody, pay them, teach them all she knows. Do you know what I mean? But
what was her business?
She's got a hair studio and academy in Huddersfield.
Yes.
She's never received funding. She got some money from a family friend at the beginning, but everything else is she's put in through her own work. And you know something? I'll tell you something real funny, because this is another part of why a lot of people are like, I don't know. For the first 2 weeks when she got the money, she didn't touch it because she thought it was going to be taken away.
Oh, no.
Not by me.
Yeah, just...
Because who does this?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it was so easy. I had to answer 2 questions.
There's no way this is real.
Yeah.
Imagine. And it's not her. It's not a slight on her at all. We're talking about it. And I'm like, mate, I fully understand. Because we are working from such a place of deficit. We're working from such a place of need. And we have to be honest about that. That we're like, oh, but if I apply and I don't get it, and why would I apply? So many people are going to apply and I don't get it. We limit applications as well if we're able to, so that we get enough, and then we don't have enough. We don't have thousands of people applying. That's not fair. But that's the thing. We need to get over the fact that we are working from a deficit. We recognize it. We also have to understand that our elders came, they were shocked into paralysis because they were lied to about being here. We are the pioneering generation, right? We are the pioneering generation. And as a pioneering generation, I'm going to be honest with you, we're not going to get it easy.
And right? I agree with you there, especially because they came from a completely different reality, arrived, did their best. I always want to give them their flowers because they laid the foundation.
They laid the foundation against
to feel comfortable enough
obstacle.
To build. Exactly. Now we're building here, and what can we do for the next generation so that they can really truly thrive?
Yeah.
So I love that, and that how you described the first winner, I'm not surprised at all, because as a business owner, so my business is 5 years old, and I've felt like, which route should I go down in terms of making sure that there's enough money to fund the the goals, the dreams and stuff like that. And you almost get used to never having enough and always having to be scrappy. So then if it just arrives, they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. Yeah.
Financial oppression, it's huge psychologically.
Yeah.
I talk a lot because when I came back to London and I found myself as a single mother, you know, going through a really big case in Mexico, you know, and all of a sudden having next to nothing and recognizing how my brain started to shift and how oppressed I felt because I didn't have enough. And I was like, what the heck is this? Are people doing this? Are people living like this?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, no, this is not normal. Like a lot of my videos on TikTok, I'm like, this is not normal. It's not, when I say it's not normal, I'm not saying you're accepting it. You have no choice, but you need to recognize this is not normal.
Yes.
The living in this place of continuous, consistent struggle is not glorious and it's not normal. Our bodies are used to it, and feeling rest. You know, I'm not feeling well today. I put a post out on LinkedIn. That was the first time not only did I not feel well, I allowed myself to feel sorry for myself. Like really, not like everybody else feels sorry for you, but I allowed myself to feel sorry for myself. And I'd be like, can I have some water? I can't move. Because you don't do that. You're just like onwards and upwards.
But it's good to be soft. It's good to look after yourself and recognize that, you know what, I can't.
But do it without guilt.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. We're all trying, and I said it, we're all learning, but we have to get to a place where we don't feel guilty. Like the men, they get sick, they lie down, they have no guilt. I'm like, how do you do that? You just change your mindset.
I mean, on the subject-ish, but not really. Being a woman that's got a mum, to be honest. So being a mum that is starting an entrepreneurial journey, or actually you're a multiple business owner. You've started, I'm not going to use the word failed. You started and it was challenging.
Use the word
and
abjectly failed.
Yeah. Because nothing's a failure, because you learned quite a lot and it's brought us to this stage.
Exactly.
But I need to find the right word with this, because whenever I start to ask the question and then I want to say, how do you juggle? I just don't like it. But how do you manage, maybe is a better word, being a mom and also being a business owner?
Okay. So how do I manage being a mom in a community where there is none and in a system where I have very little support? Badly, because you're not supposed to, right? So you're not supposed to. Badly. I manage it badly. I do what I can. My son is homeschooled as well because up the system. Like yesterday, he went away for a day, came back, and my son is autistic and he verbally stims. So he's always like, oh, and he's playing with his trains and he's like, crash, blah, blah, blah. And I was just sitting there trying to do my work and just seriously overstimulated and saying to my partner, and those moments I realized that we get on with it because we have to, because there's no other choice. I say to women who don't have kids, don't have kids. I do. Not because I don't love kids. I love some kids. I like my son a lot. However, I do. Good, but we had to grow on each other. People were like, "Oh, do you love your son?" I don't know him. He could be not nice, but I'm not that person. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That needs to be discussed quite a lot, actually, because a lot of women feel guilty for that. And then it's like, you don't meet somebody, you vibe with them. You're like, you're cool. But let's be honest, do you really know them enough to be like, I love you so much beyond everything, that you have an innate need and desire to keep them alive, let's be honest. But let's not confuse that, right? To like, oh my gosh, the minute I saw your face, I knew. Come on now. It could be a nail, It's giving GCSE drama.
You know what I mean? The minute I saw your face and I knew my heart was there, linked together forever. Shut up, man.
So how do you manage?
All right, so basically, I prepared myself quite a bit before I had a kid. I prepared myself by understanding that children are basically feral humans that need guidance. I'm not kidding. Anybody that knows me well enough would know that feral humans that need guidance, and most of the time they don't understand what they're doing or saying. And also children look for every opportunity to either poison or unalive themselves in some way.
Yep.
So when you have that, then you can relax a bit and deal with it accordingly. Children don't have long memories unless they're autistic and they remember things you don't need them to remember. But you need to repeat stuff a lot. I say to all my friends, I'm like, why are you arguing with a child? Would you argue with a crazy person on the street that is in your neighborhood? No, they come to you, don't they? They say stuff and you just go, yeah. And it's not about humoring them, but you're arguing with somebody who doesn't have the cognitive ability to recognize that they're wrong. Why are you wasting your time? Huh? Like, no, I said no. What? No, so that's how I manage. I recognize where I'm at, where he's at, and we try to work together. It doesn't mean that I lose it every now and then, because I still have my mother's traits in me. But I'm always reminding myself of the reality of the situation.
Yes.
Right? I'm burnt out. And I say to my son, listen, a couple of months, couple of weeks, mummy's going to have that stuff that comes out, and I'm not going to be happy with most of the things you do. Okay. So just try to be gentle and helpful with mummy. Speaking like that to my son, and also treating my son as if he's a human being. So I apologize to my son. We work through things. We speak about things. I ask him if he's understood. Most of the time he hasn't, so he's free to again. So I work on the level of understanding where he's at and where I'm at. That's how I manage. And then everything else, you just plow through, because you're not meant to be focused on a child. The design, 100% you. You need a community, not just another person. I wouldn't even say if just two of you. Find more people.
Yes.
Like, if you can't, pay people,
This has come up with a couple of mothers that I've spoken to on the podcast, and it's like there's sometimes, or I think it's this country mostly, to be honest with you, because I haven't heard this from anyone else, any other country, in finding help and paying for help, especially if there's loads that you're trying to do outside of just your household. Why shouldn't we? In other cultures, you've got a network of aunts, uncles, you've got grandparents, and then people pay for help to nannies and things like that. So I'm glad that you've mentioned that, because there's so much guilt in the UK.
We don't have any other choice. We are a fragmented community in survival mode. Do you know what I mean? Trying to battle daily microaggressions, daily obstacles. It's hard. We're not. The fact that we have achieved what we have achieved stands as a testimony that, as Black people from the Caribbean, from Africa, from wherever, we are magic. Because, do you know what I mean? Dealing with what we have, if we really sit back, and this is what I like to talk about. I like to talk about the stark reality, because I want you to, not to make you feel bad, but I want you to realize what you've been able to achieve. Do you know what I mean? In the face of all of this, they don't have to do that. They don't have to. Most of them don't have to do that. And here we are. Do you know what I mean?
So imagine what we're going to do with our next 15 years.
Listen, I'm like, let's get corporations together. You have a hair salon, you have a hair salon, you have a hair salon. Make a conglomerate. All of a sudden, you have leverage. Right? Let's walk out of that place of I need to make minds for minds. That's not how the world works. So that's how I think about it. You really need to look at things differently to be able to create the new things that you need. New systems, lifeboats, parachutes, all those things.
Love it. I love it. I wanted to ask, because this is a finance podcast, what your attitude towards money is. Maybe because this will also influence maybe if you can reflect on, has it seeped through into your attitudes towards money in your business as well?
Money is a tool. Money's always been a tool. I'll give you one experience that changed everything about me. I was a missionary, and I would come back to this country from Mexico. And as a missionary, you live on miracles, I say, right? And I was going into town. This must have been 2008. I was going into town. I looked nice. had £3 in my pocket. I didn't have a bank account here. And I looked nice, and everybody was and I started having this spiral. They can all see that I'm poor, this, that, and the other. I didn't live a poor life, right? But I didn't have money, liquid. I hadn't put anything into assets. And I felt a voice say to me, and I believe it's the voice of my Lord, what has the money in your pocket got to do with your worth? Got to do with who you are, the substance, the quality of who you are. Money is a tool. I was on the Victoria line. I came off on that station I walked high, like I owned the world. Not like I'm arrogant, but like I had money. And so from that time on, my attitude to money is this. You can use it as a resource to get the things you need. You need to understand how it works in this world and system. You do. You do. It's not just about amassing wealth and then getting things that make...
But I agree with you in terms of because what I was going to say is I bet when you walked out of there and then the opportunities that then came maybe on that day or the day after, soon after that confidence hits, then it's somehow it's attracted to you. You can find more opportunities.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're feeling that lack, it's harder to make things happen.
When you're financially oppressed, it's really hard to look at things in a different way, you know? And like I said, when I recently came back and I began to experience the effects of not having enough, and I was like, whoa, what is this? Because in Mexico, as a missionary, as self-funded, you never have enough, but I was never oppressed. Do you know what I mean? I never felt that.
In this country, if you don't have it, honestly, it's like and I think it's because of all the direct debits, all the standing orders, and genuinely, if you do not have it, then it feels like your life is about to end. Whereas I feel like in other countries, you can figure it out.
Because in this country, just walking outside costs you money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just breathe. You're like, oh gosh, £10.
I'm already in overdraft.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh gosh. It's just the constant shock. And but I'm like, you need to find ways to get out. Listen, in these internet streets, right? In these internet streets today, there are many ways to make money legally. I'm looking at you. Legally, there are many ways to make money, right? In these internet streets. We are no longer hooked in and bound by our salaries. Make use of it. Let go of your shame. Stop complaining because nothing's going to change from the complaints. Find a way. Listen, TikTok wants you to make money. I bet you, don't they send you stuff going, you can make money now, go live. You can do this now, go. And you're like, I don't know. It's there. Listen, I did a live.
Yes.
And I got 13 cents. I didn't even know I was making money. I didn't even know I was making money.
For talking.
For just talking
Yes.
about stuff and complaining that I was talking because I don't like doing lives. I spent half of the live going, oh my gosh, how do people do this? I don't know how they do this.
And someone was like, I like this.
I got 13 cents.
Yes.
And I didn't know till after. And TikTok is like, oh, here's your money. I was like, money?
Where should we put it?
If I was dedicated to this,
Yeah.
I'd be making it, you know, and that's the thing. What we need to understand is that our salaries, our daytime jobs, the system, the government that didn't care for us in stable times will not be caring for us now, will not be coming to save us. Stop also trying to get everything into be a product, that tangible product that you sell. TikTok is saying, just show this on the camera and get money. Do it. I don't do TikTok shop because I'm doing too much. But if do you know what I mean?
I get it.
But as soon as I have a garden, listen, I'm doing my garden channel.
Oh, is that what we're going to do?
Well, garden, actually, farm, mini farm.
I love
I'm doing my
that.
farm channel. That's the thing.
Can I be a guest, please?
Yes,
Because
of
I'd
course.
love to learn a little bit about how to plant things.
You'd have to fly to Mexico.
I will come to Mexico.
Yeah, no, seriously. And I'm gonna monetize that.
Yes.
What the heck? I have no shame. What?
You touch on a very good point. What do they call it? Analysis paralysis, when you think and think and think and overthink and
you don't do it.
And then you don't do it.
Yeah,
And
I'm not
then
that
you
person.
almost talked yourself
Out of
all
it.
the way out of it. Like you failed, but that was all just in your head.
Yeah, I'm not that person. I'm like, I need to go there. Okay, but and I tell people I'm gonna go there, and they just look at me, especially if it takes a long time. They're like, are you really gonna go? I'm like, The process isn't that I'm going to get there. And it's not that I'm going to get there one day, soon. No, I'm making the plans. My bag is packed. My stuff is being sold. I'm doing what I need to do. And I think you're right. I've spoken to a bunch of people that like, I can't get myself to that stage. And we have to realize that it's not because you are not capable. It's because you are living in a space of paralysis because of survival mode, because of financial oppression, because you are also believing the lies that if you worked out you're hard, keep your head down and all of those things, something will break because you think you'll win the lottery. We need to win, and you may, but that's not the point, We need to snap out of that because whilst we're doing all of that, people are moving, people are shifting. Mr. Beast exists.
Yes. And then I don't know if you get this when I think of an idea and then 3 months later I see someone else doing it. And it's like, had I just sat down and did X, Y, Z and actually did it, I wouldn't be envious of a stranger of doing something that I think I could do better. But did you even start?
Did you even start? But did you die?
Yeah.
That's what I say to people all the time. But did you die?
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. And I think sometimes a lot what we do is we also go the hard way. Like, okay, I need to source the product. There's a girl, she lives in China and she lives there, black girl, beautiful model. She lives in China and what she does is she sources products for other people that don't want to come to China. My girl lives well. We need to expand our worlds to see. I think maybe my privilege is that I've lived in different countries. I traveled around Europe and stuff like that. So the possibilities that I see, like for me in London, I don't see a lot of possibilities. The fact that I've even been able to create this is because I feel like I had to. This was the meant to be thing, because otherwise nothing else would have worked in this country for me. I don't thrive here. I thrive in other places, right? So thinking, this is the other thing. It's not just about paralysis. It's about what we limit ourselves to, right? Where I watch a lot of documentaries on innovation in China because I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? Why? It opens my brain, because I can't go there yet, to see that there are other ways of doing things. I absorb it, I take it in, I show my son, my goodness, they did that. How did they do that? And all of a sudden you're looking at it differently, right? It's and so it's like, it helps you. When you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, I want to, and there's no shame against opening a shop somewhere, but business rates.
Especially in London, it takes up a lot of your
business rates.
Yes.
Business
and
rates.
You're tied to it as well.
Because it's not even your rent of
on
business
top of
rates.
That. It's not your service charge. It's not your bills. Now you also have business, which is basically like council tax for businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, don't do it. Find, like, can I tell you something? A lot of you on Instagram may have seen a lot of, I'm going to out them because I have to, may have seen a lot of Instagram pages that say, we support black businesses. We support black businesses. Do you know who runs those?
Who does?
People from India.
Right.
They saw a market, just like they saw with our hair. They saw the market. Why? Because when I was doing my last campaign, I spent very, very little money on marketing. And I saw this We Support Black Business and I was like, oh, wow. They have a lot of followers, black business owners, this, that in the UK. Maybe this will be a good place. And I didn't do it initially, but then one person posted my post in their story tactic to start a conversation. And I was like, oh, thank you so much for doing my story. Oh, yeah, £19. And I'll post it as a post, is that? And I was like, okay, £19. Tell me why Ganesh was the one that was sending me from...
Yeah.
sending me...
And you're like, hold on a minute.
I was like,
can't,
Ganesh?
The pictures that I see are not matching with what's going on here.
And then I realized that a whole bunch of them, because a lot of them, they sent me, they're really brash. Send us this picture. I'm like, that's not how you do. And it's because they are all run by people from India or Pakistan. So we didn't take it. There's a few black owned, and it says on their Instagram things, black owned. But they can get away with that because they say, well, what we mean is we're supporting black-owned businesses. So when you see the black-owned, you're like, oh, this is black-owned, I'll support. I don't mind giving money to a black-owned business to
Because
promote
we
me.
want to support more black business.
Find me 5 of those accounts that are actually black-owned. And then I'll support them. But find me 5 if they exist. This is what I mean by they saw a niche, they went into it, they did it, right? And they're making money because people don't ask questions, right? They don't.
You touch on a very big point. I mean, for years now, one of my favorite shops where I can get like grey hair, it's not black owned, but then all the products are for us.
Yeah.
And I like the business owners that are, like the Ruka hair, and there are a lot of business owners that are trying to rectify this. And maybe we need to also do a bit of research before we put money towards something, because as you said, the pages online may look like they're black owned, but we just need to do 1-2 research to just find out, are they genuinely? So then we can put our pounds towards that. Because just like your entire initiative, it's like we need to make sure we're putting money towards helping the business owners that need it, so then they can thrive and we all can thrive.
Yeah. And also, this is the other thing, Ruka hair. And then what's the other Afro hair stuff that's been around for ages?
Is it Afrocentric?
Afrocentric.
Yes.
Can you imagine if Ruka hair and Afrocentric got together? Right? They came together, powerhouse company. Then they can open a place where we can all come to. Can you imagine because this is the other thing that I'm saying. I see a lot of black women especially doing the same kinds of businesses. And because we're coming from a place of minds and minds, and it's not a bad place to be, but all other demographics have caught on to, let's band together to do the thing. But what if they scam me? What are contracts for? What are contracts for? I learned this in Mexico because Mexicans scam each other quite a bit. No shade to my beloved Mexican people that I love you. My son is half Mexican, okay? You people are sensitive. Just a quick thing. When people come to me for the work that I do and they have an interview, they sign a piece of paper saying, I had an interview, I was not offered a job. And they sign a piece of paper with an emblem that cannot be copied because it has a certain thing on it. So that's how much I work. That's how I work. I don't, when we gave the money to Jenny,
everything's above board.
She signed a contract. That was clear. What we expect from you, what you expect from us, this is how we go. And just, do you know what I mean? Contracts are there for a reason and you should use them. But I've heard people say, yeah, but if how our people are. No, it's not our people. It's desperation.
And we're in a country, at least, if there's anything, if there's a contract, that is it. At least.
Listen.
Yes.
I sign contracts with my partner all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be another conversation. I think separate, but a lovely conversation I would love to have.
Yeah, I have very strong lines of partnership. Very strong lines. Very strong lines.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't mess around.
But just to wrap us up before we have to go, because I appreciate your time. In terms of, there's a broad range of things that we've discussed today. However, are there any books or literature that could support with one of the themes that we discussed? Maybe it could be funding, or it could be being a female entrepreneur, or it could be the philanthropy, I can never say that word, that you have done. Are there any literature that you might recommend?
This sounds off topic, but I think it's a really, really important book as a woman to read, to understand yourself, and then move forward. Fast Like a Girl, Dr. Mindy Peltz. Because before you start trying to understand systems and stuff like that, one thing that we don't do as black women a lot, is understand our bodies as we age, because there aren't any studies on female bodies anyway, right? But understanding how our bodies work, our cycles work, the grace we should be giving ourselves, what we should be doing, then changes completely How? When do you read a book? You don't read your book in your luteal phase. You'll smash it. Do you know what I mean? I think those things are getting to the roots of those things are first and foremost what we need to do. And then that guides us. Because you give grace to yourself. You give grace.
It's so true because I had a mindset from like my 20s onwards where it was, I think for, 10 years, it was very much dedicated to these are my goals, this is my target. Every single day, except for Sunday, you are working towards that. If I don't, I've made myself feel guilty. It worked because it got me to a really high position in my 20s, and I managed to do a few things that
How
probably
much did it cost you?
it cost a lot. So I feel really tired now, and now I try to go back to that girl that could wake up at 3 a.m. and then she's revising, because that's when I passed my accounting exams, and then straight after that, 5 o'clock, I'm going for a run before I get to work. By 8 a.m. I was at work because I wanted to be early because I want my promotion. Amazing. And all of that though, I feel like that's from a men's perspective, because even if I was, a time of the month, or there's 2 times of the month where you need to be mindful, right? But then I would not listen to, you're tired? Well, if you're tired, they're not tired. You need to wake up anyway. So I love that book, and I'm going to look into it because I can feel my body tells me stuff, but I don't know what it's telling me.
From now until me, because we're 10 years apart, you need to know what's happening to your body.
Right.
Because it will knock you for 6. You will be like, what? Why do you betray me so?
I thought we got each other.
What are you doing? Fix up. Your body's like, meh.
I don't want to.
Exactly, because you haven't understood it yet. And Fast Like a Girl is so important because it goes deep into what you eat, why you eat it, what's going on, why it's going on, this, that. I love Mindy Peltz, she's a white lady, but I like her, So I love some white ladies myself, like them.
Good book writer.
Good book writer, good person. She's on YouTube as well. She has a lot of stuff on YouTube that you could just watch, She's really energetic and...
And just so we can make sure we're directing people towards all your initiatives.
Yeah.
If you can remind us of the site and the TikTok and everything else where people can find you.
Okay. Fundhership is Fundhership Official, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere, Threads, Fundhership Official. I'm on LinkedIn as well as Fundhership, the Fundhership Grant. And our grant is still open. If you're watching this in August, well, if you're watching it in September, it'll be open again, So, and then I am Nana's Nation on TikTok, Nana's Nation Official, because I'm famous enough for people to copy me. So I have to do the official thing. Weep. Weep. And then everywhere else, I'm Nana's Nation. And my website is going to be out soon, called nanasnation.com. So by the time this comes out, you can find me at nanasnation.com. Find out a bit more about what I think and why I think it. So it's the application is at apply.omegas7, so it's 2 S's .org. apply.omegas7.org, and it is .org, even though I am a limited company, because you can. So you in charge can. So apply.omega7.org or omega7.org. And on that website, you'll see the initiative of Fundhership going. Yeah, there. I hope that's clear.
Amazing. Yes, that was. And we will put links as well in the show notes.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
You've given me my dream. Give me a mic any day. Yes. I always say to people, don't let me film myself, but give me a mic.
That is all for us today, guys. Join us next week for some more seeds to sow. And please remember to support us by following and leave a rating on our show on whichever platform you're listening to us from. To those watching on YouTube, please leave a like and a subscribe to our channel. All of your support goes a long way. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, keep shining.